Angela here again at the Chicken Coop, and I've been doing a lot. My husband's over there, he just waved at y'all too. You can see, but he did you. So I've been doing a lot of canning, but I haven't been doing any videos just because when I kind of get in this process, you know, it just takes a lot of time to set everything up to do a video per se, and some days I may not have makeup on or that kind of thing. But my friend encouraged me that I need to be filming this, and I do, so I made the extra effort today because y'all are worth it to put some makeup on and be presentable to do this video. We received some oranges today, and some of the oranges in the bags were not any good, but some of them, like, you know, there just might be one orange in the bag that wasn't any good. Went through and picked out the oranges that were actually okay to use, and we're going to make some orange jam, orange marmalade, whatever you want to call it. We're going to do that today. So the first thing I did is I'm washing the oranges, but I wanted to show y'all something that I'm seeing on the oranges, and a step that I am going to do that I haven't seen anyone else do on some other videos that I watched. And it's kind of like, you know how like when you wash an apple that might have that like waxy coating that they put on there? That's kind of what I'm seeing on these oranges, and I want to get that off, because if we're going to use these skins of the oranges in the marmalade on some of them, we want really nice skins. So let me show y'all what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm here in my sink, and let me see if I can find one. Yeah, here's one. I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of got like a white coating on, just kind of around on the outside of the orange peel. Like, see right there? See that? So I am taking my brush that I clean my potatoes with, and I'm wiping that off. I'm scrubbing that off. And I can kind of see this wax floating in my water from this. So I do think it has some kind of wax coating, because these are not organic or anything. These were just given to me, and I want to use them up. So I'm just scrubbing them like you would scrub a potato. Now this one has some of that wax coating on there. You can kind of see right through there. But also it's blemished. So we're going to use the inside of this orange, but we're not going to use the skins on this one, because we don't want that ugly skin to be in our marmalade. But there's nothing wrong with the orange itself. You know, that's one thing y'all got to kind of get over, the fact, especially if you're canning and you're starting to can your own vegetables, that everything's not going to look like market perfect. I mean, you know, you wouldn't want to use that in there, but there's ways to do that. You know, everything doesn't have to just be perfect for you to use the fruit, to use your product. You don't want to use bad products, I'm not saying that, but you know, you can get carrots that have some blemishes on them, get them at a discount, you know, they're not just like the perfect looking carrot. Peel them, cut all that stuff off, and you would probably never know that that carrot is going to be just like the carrot that you're buying that are just in those pristine little packages and all that kind of stuff. Same thing with an apple. You could buy a box of apples from a grower, and you know, it might have some little spots and stuff on it. You could cut those spots off. I guarantee you, our grandmothers and aunts and stuff, great grandmothers, they did not throw stuff away just because it had a little spot on it. I guarantee you they didn't, because that food was still good. It just had like it got bruised up or kind of got nicked in picking, or who knows what happened to it. still a good fruit. I'm not saying use bad fruit. I'm just saying everything doesn't have to be pristine. We always think everything has to be pristine. And then we're also teaching a generation that everything has to look pristine or it's not any good. Well, that's not true. Okay. So I got them all cleaned. And I'm going to start getting these sliced up and I'll show y'all the next step. So I've washed these oranges and we're gonna slice these up. Now I would recommend, if you're gonna do some real cooking, is to get you a really nice cutting board. Not just a little bitty tiny little cutting board. Get you one that's got some surface area to work on. I got this at Sam's, but I'm sure you can find them all sorts of different places. I even found one of these at a thrift store one time for my son-in-law so he could cut up fish and stuff on. So, I mean, just get you a nice cutting board. Every woman needs a nice cutting board. All right, so I'm going to slice these ends off. See how there's like a little spot right there? Can you see? I'm just going to kind of slice that little, just the tip of it off. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay? We'll slice it in half. These, I'm not seeing any seeds in this, but if you had an onion, I keep calling them onions. If you had an orange that had seeds, you would want to remove the seeds. Now, some of these oranges, that the peeling has a lot more than just that one little, there are some seeds in here, hold on. Just that more than that one little spot, you would want to just peel that orange and get the whole peeling off, but use the inside of the orange. Slice up the inside of the orange. Let me grab a bowl so I can put these in that I've sliced. Okay, so another tip that I wanted to show you I didn't show y'all the thickness that I was going for. There's a few little places in the skin right there that I'm gonna slice that off. Cut these in half. Cut it again. Also too, what I'm going to show y'all, I'm going to take this, let me put this down a little bit. Take this quarter and I'm going to slice right through there. See how that kind of gets all that inner pith stuff out? All right, and now I'm going to slice. And you want these pretty thin because you want that to be able to thin so that skin will be able to cook down. So let me kind of show you how thin I'm going for here. Let me get this one cut up. See the thickness of those? They're probably about 1/4 of an inch thick here. That's kind of what you're going for. If you see something on the back of my counter here, I'm fermenting some Tabasco peppers with garlic to make some Tabasco sauce. So that's what that little science experiment is back there. A couple of summers ago, we went on a tour to Avery Island to the Tabasco company, and I actually purchased some seeds from there and I grew them this year, and I had some good peppers. So I'm gonna try to make some fermented Tabasco sauce. All right, so now I'm gonna finish up cutting all this stuff up, which will take a while, and I will get back to y'all. All right, so I'm back and I got all those oranges cut up and they were in a big wash tub, and I measured them out, and I'm going to do it in 2 batches because I've got too many to do in 1 batch. So I've got just a little over 8 cups for each batch. I want to show y'all kind of what I'm talking about here. Let me move this down. So that's my big measuring cup. It holds 8 cups, and it's just a little bit over the 8. So I'm going to use that in each batch. And I had some juice in the bottom of the wash tub, and I kind of just split the juice up between each batch. So I already have some in my stock pot, and I'll show you what we're doing over there, okay? All right, so we're back. I'm sorry, my lights are kind of behind my stove, so I get shadows on my stove, so I'm sorry about that. But so I took a little bit over 8 cups of oranges for the first batch, and I put them in here, and I put some water in here, but I didn't completely cover it up. I just put enough water in here to kind of get almost close to the top. I think you can kind of see the water level. And we're gonna let this simmer and see, because we've got to soften up these rinds and everything, and I'll kind of keep an eye on the time and let y'all know exactly how much time, I kind of spent. Of course, it's gonna vary on this, but I will try to keep up with a timer on this and let y'all know how long I had to simmer it for, okay? So we'll come back when this is simmered for a while. All right, so this has been simmering for about 30 minutes. And as you can see, my water level started up, my water and my orange level started up about right here. And so it's about half of the height that it was in the pot. And what you need to check is you need to get one of these pieces of oranges, like a piece that's, kind of like an average thick piece. Now this is going to be bitter and sour because it doesn't have any sugar in it yet, but you want to taste it and make sure that the orange is soft, like how a fruit would, any other kind of fruit that you might be cooking and making jelly out of. It's still a little tough for me, so I'm gonna let it simmer for about 10 more minutes and we'll see what it does. But you also have to keep in mind that your jelly, you're going to bring this back to a boil when you add your sugar, then you're going to hot bath it, so your jellies and jam still kind of cook throughout the process of just canning itself. It cooks even more. So this may be kind of close to what I want, but I'm gonna let it go another 5 or 10 more minutes, and then we'll probably be exactly where we need to be, okay? And then we can add the sugar. All right, so one thing I wanted to show y'all, this is my pressure canner, but I'm gonna use it as my water bath canner, which you can do, but you just don't use the lid for it. It's got the rack in the bottom, and I've put my jars in here, and I filled it up with the water that, you're gonna use to water bath the jelly, or the marmalade, jam, whatever. And I've got about 1 inch of water above these jars. So it's kind of like the water displacement method. If you remember about your science, like, if you fill this, if you just put water in there and you fill these jars up and then put the jars in there, you may or may not have too much water in here, and then hot water and stuff would be pouring off the side because you're gonna, you have an amount of water in here, and then you start putting these jars in here and it may be too much water. So if you do it like this, then you don't have too much water. You may have to add a little bit to it, but you have enough water to cover your jars, and then especially when the jars are filled with jelly, you won't have too much water in your water bath canner. This is about to come to a boil. It's starting to kind of bubble up, and this will need to boil for about 10 minutes to sterilize the jars. When you're doing a jam or a jelly that you're not pressure canning, you need to be using sterilized jars. So these are going to sterilize and come to a boil, and you're going to boil them for 10 minutes, and that will sterilize the jars. So just kind of wanted to show y'all the setup of getting your jars and everything ready for jelly in a water bath canner. You can kind of feel it getting thicker. So turn that down just a little bit. You can kind of, it's been boiling for all that 10 minutes that we've been processing the jars, and you can kind of see it's getting thicker in there. And I'm going to put this package of liquid pectin in here. This is bring it back up to a boil, and we're going to boil it for 1 minute. It's a rolling boil, and a rolling boil is a boil it doesn't kind of stop or go away when you're stirring it. Alright, so it's kind of come to a rolling boil, so we're going to watch it for a minute. Alright, so we're going to kind of turn it down a little bit. Alright, so now we can fill our jars. Alright, so I've taken a jar and emptied the water out, placed it on a plate. Got my funnel in here and for my jar. I like to go ahead and get my next jar out. Empty the water out of it. Be careful so you don't burn yourself in emptying that water out. Set that aside right there, and then move my funnel over there so my funnel doesn't drip on it. Alright, so I've got a wet paper towel here, and I'm going to wipe the rims off. I'm going to turn that down. Put a lid and the rim. Remember, just finger tight. Put that back in your canner. Okay. And we repeat the process. jar out. Empty it. This looks so good and it smells wonderful. Put that one in my canner. That jar is really hot, but if y'all only knew how hot my dishwashing water is, my hot water heater is really hot. So people usually go, oh, that's hot, that's really hot. Well, I'm used to it. I've kind of gotten conditioned to that hot water, so I could move that pretty good without hurting myself. Just be careful because this sugary liquid is so hot. It's hotter than what just regular water. It is so hot and it'll stick to you. And so I'm gonna bring these to a boil and let them boil for like 10 minutes, and then we'll take them out of the water bath canner. All right, so that batch of jelly is completed. I'm about to start my second batch. The only thing I'm going to do different with this batch is I didn't like that long piece of rind in there. So I went back in this batch and cut them all, kind of cubed them up a little bit more so they would be smaller. And I'm going to do this batch exactly the same way, and then you know, I'll be done. I'll be done. So I've been at this quite a while, taking some breaks in and out. One thing I showed y'all a picture of the jars, how pretty they turned out. So see, they turned out a real pretty color. You can see the rind in there. See how pretty but see, I didn't like that big piece of rind in there. So I'm gonna do that just a little different. I guess it's just your preference, what you like. And so these are just waiting to set up and cool off. And let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I've got 11 jars of jam or marmalade that I made in that batch. So I'm going to repeat the process. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this canning video. Oh, I heard a ping. I hope y'all enjoyed this canning video. It's just been a really busy time. I know all homesteaders are in the exact same spot that I'm in. They're trying to work and get their harvest all canned, and then of course it's getting back to school and all that kind of stuff. So I know everybody is busy. No one is exempt from this if you're homesteading. So just thank y'all for watching, and if you enjoy my videos, please like and subscribe and hit the thumbs up button and tell us that you liked it. And I will talk to y'all later, and thanks for visiting with me. Bye-bye.